Okay, so some of you guys has requested to go through the transformer question once again. Let's go through a quick recap on the transformer part here. There's only a few things that you definitely need to know, and then based on the notes, you can quickly do a self-revision, a quick self-revision on what you should know. So as soon as you see a transformer question, right, most likely these are the first things that you need to know lah. Number one, you need to know how the transformer work, okay? And oh, sorry, the first thing is you need to know what is a transformer made of. It's made of the primary coil, it's made of the secondary coil, and then after that, obviously, there's a soft iron core here, lah, right? It must be a soft iron core because it needs to transmit the changing magnetic fields. Imagine if it was like it's like a steel core here, then once it's magnetized, it's hard to demagnetize, right? So it wouldn't work, right? So once you understand the components here, the next thing is you need to understand how a transformer works. If you see like more than 3 marks in your question, most likely they want you to explain how a transformer works, which you're supposed to say the primary coil is connected to the AC power supply. This alternating current in the primary coil will generate an alternating magnetic field in the soft iron core. This alternating magnetic field will cut through the secondary coil, inducing, always remember EMF first before there is current, because there must be an electromotive force to drive the current in the circuit, right? If not, it just doesn't work this way, right? So like refer back to the notes lah if you don't remember, bro. Right? So someone asked, school exam next week, paper 2 and paper 6. Oh, yeah. Paper 2 and paper 6 should be fairly okay. We'll prepare them for the May June first. Oh. Give me a minute, guys. I have one parent who is supposed to. How will fees like be for May? May will be exactly the same fees because there will still be 4 classes. Anyways, I have one student who's going for a private candidate, and then she registered maths as core paper. Oh my god, what do I tell her? I also don't know actually. To be honest, okay. So, anyways, yeah, this is how a transformer is supposed to work. Then after that, from here, once you understand a transformer, you need to know how a step-up transformer and how a step-down transformer works. Step-up transformer is essentially the voltage stepping it up, right? So that's why they call it a step-up transformer, right? And then step-down is literally the exact opposite. But bear in mind, guys, I've mentioned this in class before, and I'll say this again as well. Your power is actually assumed to be the same unless stated otherwise. If not, you have to assume that the power is the same. And because the power is the same, the power equals to voltage times current formula will apply here, meaning to say, if you step up the voltage, your current will actually step down, guys. And then if you step down your voltage, your current will actually step up because they are inversely proportional, right? If the power is the same. So you guys need to be careful with this. Very, very important. Okay. A lot of students I see like, oh, they see, oh, here times 4, then here times 4 also, then here also times 4 lah. Then they dare to write 40 amperes here, then if I see this in the class, of course I'll beat you lah, right? But please bear in mind, the transformers, they are assumed to have the same power, so it doesn't exactly work like just the ratio. Yeah. Then one more last thing that you should always remember, there is absolutely a very important advantage in transmitting voltage at a higher volts. You transmit electricity at higher volts simply because with a higher volt, there is going to be lower current. And lower current means to say there will be less heat generated in the wire, which will lead to less heat energy loss, which leads to lower power reduced. This is essentially increasing the efficiency of electricity transmission, guys. If you see 3 marks in the transformer question, it's either going to be explain how a transformer works, which you're supposed to explain what I said here just now, right? Or they will most likely ask you what's the advantage of transmitting electricity at high voltage, which is going to be this one here. You need to make sure you know how to write this because it's literally 3 marks, guys. If they ask about transformer, I would say 7 out of 10 times they'll ask about this. So make sure you read this. But of course, it's not guaranteed, right? Yeah. So yeah, for who was the one to ask about transformer? Oh, Kunling, do you have any other questions for this part here? Okay. Then we move on to the next one, which is going to be the diffraction of the gaps, the diffraction occurrence of how water waves behave. Right. So I think a lot of you guys are always confused with this this diffraction part here. You need to know when will diffraction occur more, and you need to know when will diffraction occur less. When I say diffraction occurring more, it's essentially more Wi-Fi structured right? Like literally, this is your Wi-Fi signal, right? Then if we say that diffraction occurs less, it's more like a retarded Wi-Fi. It's like more squarish shape one, because most of the straight line retains its pattern. You see that all here is still straight run, right? All here is circular already. Okay. Then actually the condition for more diffraction to occur is a larger wavelength. If you want to simplify the easy understanding, the wavelength larger, right? As long as the wavelength is larger, the diffraction will occur more. As you can see from this example here, the drums actually produce a larger wavelength. That's why you can see that the drums actually diffract into all corners of the room, right? But comparatively, this one here is the clarinet or flute or whatever, right? Which produces a much smaller wavelength. It doesn't go through as much diffraction, which you see here. You see here, right? Actually, when will diffraction occur the most is when the wavelength is larger than the gap. Or if, let's say, the gap is smaller than the wavelength, then diffraction is going to be less. So these are the few things that you need to know only. And then when you draw the diffraction, make sure you draw the diffraction starting from the gap. Like you don't start the first wave somewhere around here. It doesn't work that way. You have to start from the gap. You have to start from the gap. What property? I give you a wow guess. I've mentioned this in class before, so guys. Which one? Yeah. Frequency doesn't change no matter if it's reflection, refraction, or diffraction. And then from here, if the essay question they ask you, oh, state what happens to the frequency after the wave goes through reflection. The answer is doesn't change. Oh, state what happens to the wavelength of the wave after it goes through refraction. The answer is the frequency doesn't change. Same for diffraction also. What shallow to deep? Shallow to deep will be refraction already, bro. Yeah, Junhao, you're correct. The smaller the gap, the more diffraction is going to occur. Okay. Lagging. I'm not lagging. Am I lagging? Is anyone else feels that they can't hear me? Oh, then you are lagging. Oh, for the past 30 seconds. Oh. No, I'm waiting for questions, bro. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else has any questions with regards to anything that they have came across? Like anything. By now, you should be doing the past year papers already, guys, by the way. Right. So I hope that whatever questions that you stumble upon and then you find that, hey, I can't really remember this concept. Then you can use this time to ask questions. This is good, right? But if you just come to the class and you just listen to all these things, you are as good as GG. Right. So yeah, guys, anyone else has any questions or not? And if you have no questions, please start thinking about what questions you want to go through together today, because we are going to be doing topical revisions really. Space questions sorry, I cannot. Moments can Space questions I cannot give you because I don't even have it. I'm waiting for you guys to give it to me. Moment questions yeah. Can you test our understanding of something for space? Oh, okay. Yeah. I had a look at the specimen paper that you guys were talking about last week, which is literally the exact same question that I've already sent you to the group. Bloody hell, that means to say that whatever resources I send to you guys, you don't actually read through it, right? Fuckers. Like based on the specimen paper itself, it seems that this part was very important, which was exactly what I was telling you guys, which was important, right? When I said I had a hunch. I would assume that this part is going to be important. They will ask you this in your paper 4. You have to explain how a protostar goes into a black hole or a protostar goes into a black dwarf. So please read through this statement again. I think this would be important. And I would assume this redshift will also be asked also either in your paper 2 or your paper 4. The key understanding of redshift is that the galaxies are actually the space in between the galaxies are actually moving further and further apart, and this can be seen by redshift where the what's it called the absorb spectra is being shifted towards the red side, right? So if you are confused, please go watch this YouTube video again. I would say it's relatively important. I'm not exactly sure how this will come out, by the way. The Hubble constant. All I know is the reverse Hubble constant estimates the age of the universe, which I don't even know if it's going to come out. Okay, let's head over to some moment questions. Moment. Have we done this question before? Let's do this question again if we have. Aaron, find out the answer for me for this one. What's the answer for this question number 9? You have 2 minutes to attempt it. .5 cm from the left side. I don't know. .5 cm. Oh, shit. I was doing the wrong thing. How do you get donkey for those who got donkey? A maybe. Oh. Nope. 6 times 20. 6 times 20 is wrong already straight away. Your equation is wrong. Your answer won't be correct. Okay, everyone. For those who couldn't do this question, you're supposed to do it this way, guys. If you look at this question here, let's understand what happens first. There is a weight, which is 6 Newton, which is this one here. There is 30 cm from the left, which is this 2 Newtons string P here, right? And they ask you what is the tension on string Q and where is it attached on the spring so that it should be in equilibrium. If you think about it logically, Q should be somewhere around here, right? But how much tension will it be? For sure, I know for a fact that the total downward force, is 4 Newtons, so it's 6 Newtons, right? Then the total upward force should definitely be 4 Newtons, right? This helps me eliminate these two answers. Straight away, if you wrote C or donkey, you are wrong already, for sure, right? Because if let's say it was the most common answer that most of you guys gave, which was 8 Newtons, right? Then the total upward force is 10 Newtons and the total downward force is only 6 Newtons. Wouldn't this mean to say I have a resultant force of 4 Newtons upwards? And by right, this beam will go up instead of equilibrium. Do you understand or not first, for those who have circled donkey? Oh, did I go too fast? Are you guys lost? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me say this again. So right now, looking at the question, we established that there's definitely going to be one more string here. I don't know which direction it is, which distance it is, right? But I know for a fact that there's a string and it's pulling this weight, this beam upwards, right? It's balancing the beam up because this beam weighs a total of 6 newtons, right? So from here, if this thing is weighing 6 newtons and this string already supports 2 newtons here, then by right, shouldn't this string support the rest of the 4 newtons? Right. If you have circled D as the answer, which is 8 newtons here, wouldn't the total upward force be 10 newtons and the total downward force be 6 newtons, which will cause the beam to accelerate upwards due to the resultant force here? Right. It doesn't make sense, ma. Namo. Anyone don't understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, assume everyone understands. If everyone understands, then logically speaking, this one for sure is going to be 4 newtons already. Because total outward force equals the downward force, right? So C and donkey for sure out already, right? So it's a matter of whether it's going to be 10 cm from the left or is it going to be 15 cm from the left only. And for those who are wondering, right, why did I say that 20 times 6 is straight away wrong? Bro, when you do 20 times 6, right, you're assuming that this is the pivoting point. And this is clearly not the pivoting point. I mean, what information on this question here says that it's a pivoting point? None of it. You cannot assume that it's always at one edge. Especially when there are two strings here, which I see coming out more and more often. If there are two strings here supporting one beam, the pivoting point will either be on one side of the string, or it will be on the other side of the string. Okay, either one for sure. And based on that, in this scenario, I will definitely use the pivoting point here. Why? Because I want to eliminate these 2 newtons away. Then now I can find that if let's say this is the pivoting point, this here will be anti-clockwise, right? Anti-clockwise here, the distance is only 10 cm, right? Which means to say, based on the pivot on string P, the anti-clockwise moment is already 60 Newton cm already. Then by right, I should have another clockwise moment that is also 60 Newton cm, right? Because moments in equilibrium applies here, right? I'm supposed to understand that total anti-clockwise moment equals to total clockwise moment, which in this case will definitely be 15 cm. Why? Because if it was 15 cm away, it means to say this distance here is 15 cm and this distance here is also 15 cm. Okay? And 15 multiplied by 4 is exactly going to be 6 Newton cm. Anyone don't understand what I'm talking about? This is very important. It actually comes out more often than not now. Okay, good. 100% absorption rate. Alternatively, guys, if you want, if you did, let's say, for example, you did the pivoting point here, right, which states that here to here is also another 15 cm, right? You'll notice that it will be the same thing also. This clockwise moment due to the 6 multiplied by, how much is this? Here is 15. Here's 90, here is 5. Multiplied by 5 is going to be equals to, 15 multiplied by 2. Yeah, you'll see the exact same thing also. It doesn't matter which point you put a pivot, as long as there's 2 strings, you put the pivot at one of the strings. It'll be the exact same thing. Okay, everyone. It's easy. This should be easy also. Do this one, everyone. You have a maximum of 3 minutes. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna fill up some water. Okay, everyone. I see some answers here. See, donkey, donkey, donkey. Let's see. The diagram shows a uniform meter ruler. The ruler is pivoted at the midpoint. The downward force 4 newtons act on 5 cm, and the ruler is held 30 cm by a string. Once again, the ruler is in equilibrium. What is the upward force of the string? Oh, this one should be fairly easy, right? Why is there different answers from everyone? So first and foremost, you need to know that this is not the distance, right? This is a 100 cm ruler. Be very careful. These kind of questions also keep coming out all the time. You're supposed to understand that this distance is only 45. For those who did not use 45, you are already wrong already. So it's going to be forced. F1D1 equals to F2D2, right? Which is going to be 4 multiplied by 45 is equals to this force multiplied by the distance, which is only 20. Right. Press that in your calculator and you'll get 159. Answer is donkey, right? How do you get C? Wait. I did 30 cm, not 20 cm. 30 cm. Yeah, a lot of you guys only see the number, but bear in mind that the numbers don't matter. You're supposed to understand what the numbers represent. And in this case here, the distance is 20 cm. In what case would the upward force and downward force be equal? This one, the upward force and downward force is also equal. So if let's say, for example, right, looking at this scenario here, if let's say the force is upwards here, right, if they ask you, what is the weight of this ruler? I'll know that the weight of this ruler is exactly 5 newtons, because an upward force of 9 will be balanced off by the downward force of 4 and 5, as long as this is in equilibrium. Understand? So you understand, or? Good. Yeah. Have we done this question before? Feels like we've done this question before. Do it again. Have we done this question before? Do it again. Tell me the first two conditions for it to be in equilibrium first. Oh, very good, Kunling. That's a very good standard answer. Good, Jermaine. That's correct. These are 3 marks. Always comes out, always the same question, always the same pattern. Hey, write me your answers, everyone. Do this question here right now. Write me your answers. I'll give you 5 minutes. Probably a little bit more, 6 minutes. Not just moments, Bang Yi, it's resultant moments. But yes, you're correct. Yes, Yen Lim, that's correct. Do the calculation also, guys, for those who have already given me the first answer. Bro, Kunling, there's more than 2 forces on this beam, bro. 0.056 newtons. No. There's more than two forces here, Scott. It's not that simple. Read the question properly. 1.4. Let's go through the answers together, boys and girls. Hey, everyone pay attention to this one. For those who have done your calculation or not. Let's say the two conditions for it to be in equilibrium is a very standard answer. For sure, there is no resultant moments and there is no resultant forces. I think I've mentioned this multiple times in class already. If this comes out, you better make sure you know how to answer it. No resultant moment and no resultant forces is the standard answer here, right? Then look at this question here. Most of you guys straight away jumped into the conclusion without even reading the damn question. They already said the mass of this meter ruler is 0.12 kg, right? And if I think about it, 0.12 kg is essentially somewhere around 1.2 newtons, right? Because this is an older paper, so you use the gravity as 10 meters per second square, right? Then from here, there is essentially one clockwise and two anti-clockwise, right? This here will generate anti-clockwise, this here will be clockwise, and this will be anti-clockwise, right? So from here, you need to use the moments in equilibrium formula, which states that total anti-clockwise moment is equals to the total clockwise moment, which in this case here will be 0.5 multiplied by 10 plus with your F multiplied by 90 is equals to your clockwise moment, which in this case here is 1.2 multiplied by 40. Press that in your calculator and you'll get an answer. Something. Oh shit. Five. Oh, isn't it 0.48? No one got the answer for this one. Wait, 0.48, right? Wow. Did anyone get the answer 0.48? I thought F was clockwise. Bro, until now you don't know how to differentiate whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. It's supposed to spin with reference to the pivot, right? This F here is like this already, bro. Wow, oi. Alarming for sure. No one got 0.48 newtons as the answer. Why is everyone struggling with the moment question now? Which part of it don't you understand? For those who got it wrong, is there any specific reason why? Kunling here said he didn't notice that it was an anti-clockwise and clockwise movement. So that is like easily solvable with some observation. Yeah, and then some of you guys who gave me 1.4 or 0.19, what's going on? I thought it was downward versus upwards. Nani? Junhao, after saying this so many times, now only you tell me you are the only one who got it correct. Okay, then after that, are you serious? Are you seriously lagging or what? Or are you lagging in the head? Anyways, yeah. Oh, what? You're not at home? Oh, what? What's going on? I'm getting more and more confused with more and more explanation. Right? But anyways, moving back into this, right? Since we have established that this is 0.48, right? Then I can find the resultant force on this thing already, right? Because right now, my total downward force is only 1.7 newtons, which is this plus this, by the way. Right. And right now, my total upward force is 0.48 newtons, which is obviously unbalanced. So you want to calculate R, right? R, which is the reaction force here, it could be either up or down, right? So obviously, in this case here, the resultant force is upwards, right? Which is essentially 1.7 minus 0.48, which you then press into your calculator. You're supposed to get 1.22 at the end of the day here as your R. Because once again, the total upward force should be the total downward forces here. That's why they build you up with this question, right? They already want you to find that there is no resultant force. That's how you get this. Sorry, no resultant moments. That's how you get this. And you should get no resultant force. That's how you get this. Understand, everybody? Anyone don't know what I'm talking about? Good. 100%. Right. Then let me find one more calculation question for you guys to do, since I start to see the terror already. How to know when the anti-clockwise rules needs to be applied? As soon as there is a pivot. You see pivot, for sure is going to be anti-clockwise equals to clockwise, unless stated otherwise. If not, for sure, clockwise is equals to anti-clockwise. I know we've done this question multiple times, right? So I'm going to skip through it. Let me find another moment question. I need to find the newer years already. Because this just ain't cutting it no more. Forces. Oh. This one also is one of my favorites. Hey, do this question here. And then after that, you're actually supposed to find the force on this slab, which is essentially this force here. How much is it? Do this. 240 newtons. Wait, I did a mistake. Yes, Junhao, very good. It seems that your moment is strong. Total clockwise moment is 77. Oh, wait. There's a mass here again, bro. Junhao. Bro, are you reading the question or not? Your answer is wrong. Oops. Wish I had my calculator. No, Joe, you're wrong. Because I was calculating it. Yes, the total clockwise should be 63 Newton meters, bro. Clockwise is force times distance, right? Why will it be only newtons? Force is in newtons and meters is in what? Distance is in meters. Yeah, you're correct. Kunling, you're correct. Just write the proper units. Yeah. Oh, everyone. Moment, please do more questions. Why every year it's the same thing? And then with that, you're supposed to find the F, boys and girls. With the 63 Newton meters, you're supposed to find the F. Yeah. 60 Newton meters. Why? Why is it 60? That's wrong. It's 63. And why is it 3.15? It's 315. Yes, Buggy, very good. 65. What's 65? Clockwise? Yeah, 63. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Some of you guys have found the answer already. If you find the final answer of 315 newtons here, at the end of the day, you are correct. Any other thing means to say your calculation is wrong. Bro. Total clockwise movement is 63 Newton meter and the anti-clockwise movement is 350 Newton meters. So it means to say this thing is going to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction, is it? Since there's more anti-clockwise movement. It's 315 newtons. That's the force generating the anti-clockwise movement. Yeah. Okay, guys, for those who are stuck and absolutely lost at this point, please pay attention. If you look at this question here, right, it says something like the weight is 30 newtons. And the first question you need to ask yourself is that, where is the weight acting on? The weight is literally acting in the center because of the something known as center of gravity, right, or center of mass. Then from here, you need to ask yourself, how far is it from the pivot? If this is the center, it means to say here to here is 0.7, right? Then if here to here is 0.7, then here to here must be 0.5, right? Because these two add together will be this 0.7 Namo. Right, so this is the first information we have. I know that this is 0.5 meters away, and this must be naturally the rest of the 0.7 law. Right. So first question is they ask you to find the D of B away from the pivot. Naturally, it's supposed to be 0.5 meters away. They ask you to find the total clockwise moment, which is due to this force and this force. Then you calculate all right. Literally 30 multiplied by 0.5 plus 1.2. Sorry, 40 multiplied by 1.2. Right. Then press everything in the calculator. You should end up with 63 Newton meters as a clockwise moment now, right? Then after that, they'll ask you to find the force here. How much is this force here? From here, you should understand that the anti-clockwise moments is equals to the clockwise moment. Since I already know that the clockwise moment is 63 Newton meter, then the anti-clockwise moment should be the same, right? Which means to say if moment is equals to force times distance, right? 63 will be equals to the F that I'm looking for, multiplied by the 0.2, right? Because I'm looking at this moment here right now, and press it in your calculator again, and you'll get 315 newtons as your final force. 明白嗎大家? Anyone don't understand this? Okay, let's go through one more simple ABC question before we end the day. If we have it. Final answer is 63 Newton meter and 315 newtons. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can't find it. Let me scroll through and see if there's any loading empty. Oh, okay. I guess we'll end class here today. Can't find another question already for moments. But please try to attempt as much moment questions as you can, guys. Right? Because it seems to me that your moments are actually not very strong. Hey, actually do this one, last one here before we end the day. Do question B, find me the force F. This one is a relatively straightforward one. And I hope everyone knows how to do this one. Yes, Jen Lim, you are correct. You are free to go already. That's it for today. Okay, welcome. Bye. 63 Newton meter. Junhao, what are you looking for? Yes, very good, Kunling and Junhao. You have earned your freedom as well. That's it for today. I'll see you all next week. Goodbye. Very good, Scott. That's the correct answer. You have earned yourself your freedom as well. I'll see you next week. 會走啦你。Very good, Shamin. That is correct. I'll see you next week. Yes, Bangi, that's correct. Welcome. Welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome. Bye. Joe, are you sleeping on the last class, on the last minute again? Lost in the woods, sire. 63? Nani? What's your calculation? Joe. hey, Joe, how to do this? What's your calculation? Mm-hmm. $83. Good. What's the units? Newton. Huh? Newton PA. It's just Newton. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, I'll see you next week as well.